God is saying to you today, in the middle of your noise and your striving and your worry, I am asking you to stop, to be still, and to remember who I am. We live in a world that has declared war on stillness. Every moment of quiet is seen as an opportunity to fill with something. Another scroll through the feed, another podcast to listen to, another task to complete, another problem to solve. The average person today is absorbing more information and stimulation in a day than a person in previous centuries would have in a year, and we are paying for it with our peace. But even more than the external noise, there is the internal noise, the running commentary in our heads that never seems to stop, the replaying of yesterday's conversations, the rehearsing of tomorrow's scenarios, the calculating and the strategizing and the worrying. We are so rarely fully present, fully here, because our minds are always somewhere else. And into this modern condition, this ancient verse speaks with a relevance that is almost startling. Be still. The Hebrew word here carries the meaning of letting go, of releasing, of ceasing striving. It is not merely the absence of physical movement, but the releasing of the grip, the surrender of the white-knuckled control we have been trying to maintain over things that were never really in our control. The exhale after holding our breath for far too long. And then, know that I am God. The stillness is not an end in itself. The stillness is the condition in which we can truly know who God is. Because it is only when we stop doing all the talking that we can hear what He is saying. It is only when we stop working all the angles that we can see what He is working. It is only when we release the control we were never meant to hold that we discover what it feels like to be held. Knowing that God is one of the most powerful and stabilizing truths available to the human soul. When you truly know that God is God, not just as a theological proposition, but as a lived reality, as something you feel in your bones, it rearranges everything. The things that seemed so enormous become smaller. The uncertainties that felt so threatening become less terrifying. The circumstances that seemed so impossible become opportunities for God to show Himself powerful. Because if God is God, then He is greater than your problem. He is greater than the diagnosis, the debt, the difficulty, the disappointment. He is greater than the enemy who seems to be advancing. He is greater than the circumstances that seem to be closing in. If God is God, then you are not as alone or as helpless or as hopeless as the noise in your head has been suggesting. Today, practice being still, even for a few minutes. Turn off the noise, set down the phone, close the browser, sit with God, not with a list of requests, though bring those too. Just sit and listen and let the reality of who He is wash over the reality of what you are facing. He is God, and that is more than enough. Type amen and share video if you believe.